Political panel time now, and it's Bradley Devlin joining us. He's the politics editor at the Daily Signal, and SiriusXM host Reese Colbert joining us as well. Welcome to you both. Try not to be as awkward with you guys. So we were talking about this rebrand, but with what I'd like to kind of shift to now is what the president's going to do, because that'd been the big question coming in before he got to this in the cities. Okay, he was bragging about D.C., which I'll get to in a moment, but everybody's wondering, Bradley, what he's going to do in Chicago. And it seems to me now, from the latest comments, some sort of federal forces might be there this weekend, but it doesn't sound like the Guard. It's ICE or whatever. What do you think's coming?
First off, I love the tweet. Second, I think that is the big question here is what are the nature of the federal operations that could be heading into Chicago too? I think the administration, Trump gets up there, well, the Insurrection Act is a very interesting act that we're taking a close, we're taking a close look at it and all this stuff, and at the same time, in other places, he's used the protective power of the presidency to go in and protect federal installations, which is different from the Insurrection Act. This is a legalese for everyone watching at home. and what that legalese is going to be, the administration's justification and how it proceeds through the court system, I think is going to be quite interesting, because it's going to hem in or restrain the administration from certain legal activities if they send them on these troops under different jurisdictions. Yeah,
and I think at the end of it, Reese, if I had to guess, again, I don't know. I don't think he'll try that. At least in the short term, it would be you could still. We were talking about how much into branding and kind of the way it's presented this president is, you could probably get a lot of the effect he's going for in other ways without the Guard. What do you expect in Chicago, Reese?
Yeah, I mean, from what I'm seeing in reporting, they're trying to make this kind of foray into Chicago around immigration. We saw that massive immigration raid down there in Georgia today. And so the president is at least clever in understanding that he's been getting an extraordinary amount of leeway in terms of his immigration enforcement to really see so much power as the presidency. But here's what the rebranded Department of War is doing. They are sending hundreds of agents out to guard the homes of Pete Hegseth's cabal of ex-spouses and their baby daddies and baby mamas. They have the National Guard picking up trash in D.C. and the Department of War occupying our military cities. And so we need this president to get serious about the problems that this country is facing, things that he has precipitated through his horrible economic policy, and stops wasting our money on these needless occupations across different cities where they're not wanted.
There's more to it, especially with the cartel crackdown. I mean, I'm not whether it's right, wrong, or indifferent. I think that really is the story this week in many ways, how aggressive they've been, and that is a military action similar to what we've seen with terrorists overseas. In terms of D.C., I did say the president in his event that we covered was bragging about what he sees as positive results there. Bradley, here's what he said about Washington a short time ago.
Washington, D.C. is a totally safe city. We have virtually no crime. It's gone from the most unsafe city in the United States, almost, just about, to one of the safest cities, maybe the safest city in the United States. That's a tremendous compliment to our military.
Okay, tremendous compliment to our military, says Reese. You can weigh in on that certainly in a moment. Bradley, your thoughts first?
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's interesting that my co-panelists said that these adventures are needless. And I frankly think that the American people sitting at home would say this is the best use potentially of our troops in the last 30 freaking years, because we've sent them to Iraq and Afghanistan and all over the world, securing the borders and securing the communities of foreign countries. And yet all of our communities have died on the vine. Democrats are putting themselves in this really weird situation where they have to deny serious quality of living problems and crime problems in municipalities such as D.C., New York, Los Angeles, Washington, D.C., because they can't accept that the Trump administration is being vigorous in not only defending federal facilities, but also making sure that the American people can ride subways at night safely. I don't think that's a poor use of our government's amount of force. Okay. Now, the procedural aspect, of course, the legal argument is very different. And where you cross the line, where you draw the lines, means a lot in this conversation. But for people sitting at home, they think to themselves, much rather them being enforcing the law here in Washington, D.C., than them being across the world in Afghanistan fighting the Taliban for another 10 years.
Okay, let Bradley have his say there, because for time, this is going to be the final word. For Reese, go ahead.
Well, I think that there's a big difference between saying we want peace and we don't want our troops abroad versus we want the military occupying our streets. If we need more law enforcement, invest in law enforcement. If we need more violence interruption and crime reduction, then invest in the measures that actually help that. For the amount of money that we're spending on National Guard occupations, we could be funding youth jobs. We can be funding mental health services, as opposed to having the National Guard dilly-dallying around the city, actually not impacting crime.
All right.
Geez,
like I
wonder how the police got defunded in the first place.
I knew you'd try. I knew you'd get a word in, Bradley. But like I said, for time, we have to go. We appreciate both of you on the debate back and forth, Reese and Bradley. We're going to go talk about the jobs report.